We are now just a couple of weeks removed from the whole Madam Web Chris Stuckmann fiasco, and we had news break today that made me start thinking about that entire situation again. You see, I personally made a video about the subject myself, and in typical YouTube content creator fashion, it inspired a wide variety of reactions. Some people took issue with my video and said that I was attacking a bigger YouTuber for clout. Which I didn't do, by the way, but you would only know that if you actually took the time to watch the video instead of just reacting emotionally. If you were paying attention, what I actually said was that I don't really care about what he does on his channel because it does not directly impact me. What my actual issue was the reaction to his video, and how many white knights and apologists came out of the woodworks to weaponize his comments, and use them to go after YouTubers who still choose to be critical. And to the surprise of no one, that is exactly what ended up happening.
Man, I'm tired of being right.
Now, just 2 weeks later, things have changed quite a bit, and we have Dakota Johnson, the star of Madam Web, coming out to give her 2 cents on why she believes that this movie did not connect with audiences. Let's discuss.
I watch so you don't have to.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
So Dakota Johnson did an interview with Variety recently, and she was asked about Madam Web flopping, and here was her response. Quote, "In these big movies that get made, decisions are being made by committees, and art does not do well when it's made by committee. Films are made by a filmmaker and a team of artists around them. You cannot make art based on numbers and algorithms. My feeling has been for a long time that audiences are extremely smart, and executives have started to believe that they are not. Audiences will always be able to sniff out bullshit, even if films start to be made with AI. Humans are not going to want to see those." Now I could see the apologists already saying, see, this is exactly what Chris Stuckmann was talking about. The studios are the real problem. Well, I got news for you. There's been a lot of people, both content creators and otherwise, that have been calling out the studios for years now. The only difference is we typically get called toxic for doing so. And on the flip side, you treat someone like Chris Stuckmann like a hero for saying the same exact we've been saying for years. Maybe this is a sign that you should stop judging content creators who are rightfully critical, and listen to what they have to say next time rather than dismissing them.
My, how the tables have turned.
Because everything that Dakota Johnson just said, I've said numerous times in my videos. And anyone who watches me regularly can confirm that. Now I know how some of you are going to respond to that. You're probably going to say, well, Dakota Johnson actually worked on this film, and Chris Stuckmann is actually working on a film, so that makes them more qualified to talk about these things. And this was the other troubling narrative that came out of Chris Stuckmann's video, through no fault of his own. I saw many people saying that you don't have the right to criticize something unless you've actually worked in the industry, which we all know is absolute 100% bullshit. You do not need to be Martin Scorsese to know a bad film when you see one.
It's true.
As for Dakota Johnson's comments, I think she was mostly spot on. As I've said many times, filmmaking by committee is a horrible way to make films. You cannot and should not be making films based on numbers and algorithms and other things that don't really exist. If you don't believe me, ask Marvel and DC how business was impacted when they started making films for the Twitter crowd. Further proof that the internet is not real life. The only thing that I would really push back on about what she said here is that she said that audiences have always been extremely smart. The truth is that executives believed that audiences were dumb because for a while they reacted as if they were, basically flocking to see every piece of shit that these studios put out. It was only recently that audiences started to smarten up and realize that their time and money is too valuable to be used on just anything. And that's why this string of flops started fairly recently.
That makes sense.
The sad part about the whole AI conversation is that I'm sure a lot of people especially on social media, will be accepting of AI-generated entertainment because they've already proven many times before that they are accepting of just about anything. The people who know better and understand the importance of artistic integrity, those people will not accept it. Dakota's truth bomb was not done there, as she continued to lay waste to Madam Web, Hollywood, and even the people who are making excuses for this film. She said, quote, "I probably will never do anything like it again because I don't make sense in that world. And I know that now. But sometimes in this industry, you sign on to something and it's one thing and then you are making it and it becomes a completely different thing. And you're like, wait, what?" But it was a real learning experience. And of course, it's not nice to be part of something that's ripped to shreds, but I can't say that I don't understand. I want everyone to pay very close attention to that last line. I can't say that I don't understand. My respect level for Dakota Johnson is skyrocketing right now because of the level of self-awareness she is exhibiting right now. You mean to tell me that she doesn't take people ripping her film to shreds deservedly personally? I thought all the white knights said that if you were critical of this film, that it was unnecessarily mean and nothing more than piling on. You see, that was the narrative that everyone was trying to spin after the Stuckmann video. Yet you have someone who was the star of this bad film basically confirming that she knew it was going to be a piece of during the process of making it. She understands why people aren't enjoying it because the film deserves that type of reaction. Sure, you would love to be involved with something that everyone likes, who wouldn't? But a professional like Dakota Johnson clearly understands that things like criticism and bad reviews come with the territory when you're making films. The truth is that it's always been part of this culture and it always will be. Regardless of the fact that some people nowadays are afraid to be critical and afraid to have standards at times.
S-O-F capital T. Soft. Huh?
Criticism is normal. It's healthy. It tells the studios what they are doing wrong. And if they choose to listen, it gives them an opportunity to improve on the next thing that they produce. Here's a question. If Dakota Johnson isn't taking criticism of this film personally, then you have to ask yourselves, why do the people on the internet take it personally when they have no real personal connection to this movie to begin with? It's all bullshit orchestrated by people who live in a world where they want everyone to receive a participation trophy. But that's not how things work in the real world. In the real world, you get what you deserve, whether that be praise or criticism.
Get what you deserve!
Of course, the studio probably meddled with Madam Web so much that the film became unrecognizable to the person who initially signed up for it. It's happened many times over the past few decades to many different movies. This is not an isolated incident. But the bottom line is, and has always been, I do not care about the circumstances in which the film was created when it comes to judging the final product. Because that's what a critic or someone who wants to be critical is supposed to do. Shut out all the noise and speak honestly and freely about what you are actually seeing. I'm incredibly encouraged by the fact that Dakota Johnson learned from this experience, and hopefully she will have a better career after this because of it. Because at this point I have to say she deserves it. Shout out to her for not being afraid to be critical of something, even when it's something she actually worked on. This is a level of confidence and self-awareness that I wish more people would strive to achieve. As always, remember, criticism is not hate, and don't be bullied into silence by such words like toxic being thrown around on the internet that have lost all meaning.
Y'all be cool. Shut up.